Hello, my literary luminaries, and welcome back to another Top 5 Thursday. This was a fun Top 5 Thursday to do. So there's a couple things that I'm sort of tweaking with the video to see if I can make it do it right. You'll find out later if I actually manage to do it. But if the quality of the picture is a little weirder, it's because I'm doing this later at night, and so I had to up sort of like the brightness and contrast on my picture. So it may not be as clear as it usually is. I don't know how it's going to show up on YouTube, but if you're wondering why the quality is different, that's probably it. But today's Top 5 Thursday topic is your top 5 favorite first lines of books. This required a whole bunch of me staring at books on there until I figured them all out, but I've picked 5 favorites, and I'm going to share them with you. So without further ado, let's get started. Number 1. Number 1 is, I am dead, but it's not so bad. I've learned to live with it. This is the first 2 lines, actually, from the book Warm Bodies by Isaac Marion. And I had to put both of them because I love that beginning because of the second line, but I can't quote, just one. It would end up being weird. So, it really sets the tone for the entire rest of the book. If you haven't read the book, if you've seen the movie, you know sort of the wry sense of humor that R has. It absolutely sets the tone for everything, and I love R and I love his humor, and it's really an excellent first line because automatic you're like, okay, he's dead but he's telling a story. I mean, I see the whole zombie thing on the cover, but not so bad. Number 2. Number 2 is, pawn shops in Night Vale work like this. Which you can probably guess, is from Welcome to Night Vale, the novel by Joseph Fink and Jeffrey Cranor. There's nothing particularly, standout-ish about that line, other than if you know Night Vale, you know that nothing that follows that sentence is going to be as you expect it. It really sets the, oh god, here we go, kind of tone for all the rest of the book. I love Night Vale. I love its weirdness. I can hear Cecil Baldwin's voice saying everything, and I don't even have the audiobook, though he does narrate it. It's, again, sets the perfect tone, completely tells you what kind of world this is going to be. Absolutely dead on. Number 3. Number 3 is, this is my favorite book in all the world, though I have never read it. Which is the first line from The Princess Bride, by William Goldman, excuse me. And I think it's interesting because it sort of, at first, it doesn't make any damn sense whatsoever what he's talking about, but the way that the book The Princess Bride is created is that Goldman is not actually writing the book, per se. There is another author whose name escapes me at the moment, who has written the story, and Goldman is just sort of reintroducing it to the world. But I love that kind of sentence because that's the kind of one that's going to make me stop and go, how's your favorite book, one you've never read? What? Excuse me, please explain. And that's going to keep me reading, and that's what a first line should do. Number 4. Number 4 is, they say the first of my kind was a woman named Alistair, a human raised by hawks. This is the first line from Hawk Song by Amelia Atwater Rhodes. I've mentioned Hawk Song a couple times. It's a YA novel. It deals with avian people and snake people, and was definitely one of my favorite books growing up. And in many ways, I like this. I chose this first line because of what the book means to me, what it's done. Hawks have always been a big part of sort of my personal lore, I guess. Starting with Tobias from the Animorphs, guilty as charged. But especially moving on through Hawk Song. Hawks and shapeshifter type hawk people have always been a fascination of mine, and Hawk Song was one of the first. So that reminds me of a lot of sort of where I came and what I've been doing, and I like it. It's a fun book. And finally, number 5. Number 5 is, the opera ghost really existed, which is the first line from The Phantom of the Opera by Gaston Leroux. in many ways, I mean, I feel like I'm just repeating the same thing, but it perfectly sets the tone. It tells you exactly sort of the world you're stepping into, and it gives you sort of an idea for the rest of the book. Because, of course, most of Phantom of the Opera is, this argument over whether or not OG, the opera ghost, actually exists, or is this just a myth, that the corps de ballet have come up with to terrify themselves because they are small children. And I love the original Phantom. I love anything that has to do with Phantom. You people probably already know that by now. And I love that this is the way he chose to do this, is that, you're going to read this book, there's going to be a lot of questions, but you, dear reader, need to know this character really existed. The opera ghost is real. And given the way that it's written, you don't know if they're talking about, like, the fictitious opera ghost in the book, or if there truly was a real opera ghost in the bowels of the Paris Opera House. It's all very dramatic. Over dramatic. This is Phantom for you. Yeah. But those are my 5 favorite first lines. The first lines are a fascinating thing because, like, I've done workshops on them in my, studies. Like, it's a big deal. Everyone says, you've got to grab the reader right from the get-go. And it's what a lot of people will get stuck on because you know that it has to be important. And yet, it's hard to come up with that, even in your second or third or fourth, edits or whatnot. But let me know, what are your top 5 favorite first lines of books? Let me know in the comments down below or on Twitter at @KRyanFrey. I would love to hear from you. And of course, tell me what book it's from, because it doesn't matter how long my TBR is. I'm always interested in finding new books. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. It is very much appreciated. And if you're new around here, hey, why not subscribe? YouTube will very kindly notify you anytime that I put up a video, which should be every Tuesday or Thursday, at least. But until next time, I will bid you all adieu, and I will see you all on Tuesday for another Tuesday Talks. I'm so tired. I'm recording this after like a 10-hour day at work, after a whole weekend of driving. I have so much work to do and not enough time to do it. My fire hair needs to give me more power. I did dye my hair though.